So let's take a quick look at SoFi stock heading into this brand new week, as on Friday it went down over 5%. You heard that right, guys. I'm sure a lot of you knew that already, but we're going to do a refresher on the charts, break down what happened on Friday, how we're looking right now, and overall where I see SoFi going in the short term, and we're going to go over what I'm doing with my position. So guys, hit the like button, do not forget to subscribe, and check out the free stock newsletter link down below. I send my top stocks to your email weekly, and check out the Patreon for my weekly portfolio updates. That's down below as well. And with that being said, cheers. Let's dive into it. So, oh, by the way, happy, what's it called? Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hope you guys do have a great day today. Yeah, just figured I'd say that. Almost forgot to say that, guys. So, on Friday, SoFi stock went down almost 5.5%. Man, was it a rough day for SoFi, as it was for the entire stock market. We had the Russell down over 1.8%. The Dow was down pretty much 1.8%, as the S&P went down over 1.1%, and QQQ went down 1.25%. So we had a pretty rough day for stocks. Oil popped. You guys know that big time. The VIX was up. Gold was up. I think silver was up as well on Friday. So pretty rough day overall. And SoFi went down, again, 5% roughly, all the way down to $14 a share, and we actually got down to the high 13s, man. We got down to $13.97 after hitting $14.71 in the morning on Friday. Talk about a pump fake, guys. Look at this. SoFi on Friday morning opened up at about $14.40, ran to $14.70, so it actually popped 2% in the first 15 minutes of trading, and then boom, we dumped for the rest of the day. You guys can see here again all the way down to $13.97. So from top to bottom on Friday, we went down 5% on SoFi. Not crazy, not a crazy amount, but still a decent amount. And as we pull the layers back here a bit on the charts, we can see pretty much last week with this down move on Thursday heading into Friday, mainly Friday, but we saw the dump, honestly, on Thursday after market. Either way, with that sell-off, we ended up pretty much having a flat week last week on SoFi. You're noticing that here on the 5-day, 5-minute. We saw a big pop to 15.20. Then we pretty much gave back all the gains, getting right back to where we started off the week, which was the low 14. So we pretty much gave back all the gains at the end of last week on SoFi. And on this 30-minute chart, we are trading under the moving averages heading into this week, and we have a death cross. You're noticing that right here. Death cross under both moving averages. Now we're down from 15.20, about 7-ish, 8%, 7.5%. So keep that in mind. But yeah, still technically maintaining this uptrend, the trend line, right? But still, the fact that we have a death cross, we are under the moving averages. I'm not loving that on this 30-minute time frame. Let's see what the 1-hour chart looks like. Yeah, it looks like we're under both moving averages on this as well, but you guys can notice, okay, we are maintaining this trend line. It looks pretty good, and I want to show you guys this 4-hour chart. This is where, when in doubt, zoom out, look at the bigger time frames. This is where it looks very good still. You know what I mean? You guys see here on this 4-hour time frame, we're slightly under the 50 SMA, slightly, but we're well above the 180 SMA still, which has held as support on SoFi now since the 20th, pretty much, of April. So for a good 2 months now, SoFi has been trading above the 180 SMA, and it's kind of dumped under the 50 SMA here and there throughout the last 2 months, but it's remained steady above this 180. So if this really breaks the 180 SMA, oof, that would not be good for the bulls in the short term if that were to happen. But, as long as we maintain this spot, buyers come in, I think it could be a decent spot where, hey, we might get another bounce, a rally like we've seen before over the last couple of weeks. above this moving average. So SoFi heading into this week, guys, really what it comes down to is will buyers come in right here where we are? This is a big spot on the stock between $13.50 to about $14 per share. You guys are noticing right here. Boom, you guys can see. Will buyers come in? That's what we're all waiting for, at least on the short-term side of things, for a short-term trade, a nice rebound play. And honestly, even as a long-term investment, I've been buying recently in the 12s, low 13s. So maybe if it dips mid-13s, I might even buy some shares in my long-term position if it gets there. If it gets there, again, big if. But yeah, at this point, that's what I'm eyeing up on the 4-hour chart. And you guys know I'm a shareholder, obviously, and I sold what options did I sell now? I think I sold the $16 covered calls. Excuse me, guys, that expire on the 11th of July, so in less than a month, those expire. And man, when we were running up towards 16 on Thursday, I was like, oof, man. This might get the 16 way before, the expiration date. I was like, crap. But then SoFi, well, now it's pulled down all the way to $14. So we now have some buffer, on these covered calls. And when you're selling covered calls, guys, like we've talked about many times on the channel, you want the stock not to get to that strike price and especially surpass it. You want it to stay under the strike price until expiration, right? So you keep your shares and the premium, or if it goes, or if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't stay under there, you're gonna have to give your shares up. You miss out on that upside, which you know that getting into this covered call position, but you miss out on the upside, but you still keep the premium. You keep the premium at the end of the day. So yeah, that's pretty much it there on SoFi, guys. That's kind of what I'm watching in the very short term with this one, and we'll see kind of how it shakes out. Of course, it dumped down really because of the overall market. That dragged down a bunch of stocks, especially the higher beta stocks, maybe smaller. SoFi is still a pretty big company, many billions of dollars, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to these mega cap companies, it's a teeny tiny little company, so these stocks tend to move more, and that's kind of why we saw that big drop. But still, man, looking good on the charts. Even though we saw that dip, we're still maintaining here on the 4-hour time frame. And I'm interested to see, guys, how these futures open up later in the day. I want to see kind of how gold, all these S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, you name it. I want to see what the futures look like, as we're seeing more geopolitical tension, right? What's going on in the Middle East. We're not going to get too much into that here, but that caused, obviously, gold to start breaking out now to all-time highs again, brought down the stock market a little bit on Friday. The VIX went up a bit. Volatility index is now flirting with 20 points again. Actually, no, it's above 20. There you go. So it's going to be interesting. Get ready, man. Buckle up. And earnings-wise, we don't have much this week. I don't know if I'm going to make another video going over companies reporting earnings this week because they're not too, important, I guess, if you will, these companies. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll decide against it, make another video later in the day. But yeah, with that being said, guys, quick one. I'm going to wrap it up. Happy Father's Day. Appreciate all the fathers out there. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, join the free email stock newsletter, and check out my Patreon for my portfolio updates every single week, multiple updates a week, most weeks, guys. That's down below if you're interested. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next video.